The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. The COMELEC en banc, sitting as the National Board of Canvassers, have resumed their session as of this morning. To give us the latest on this, we have Greg Gregorio now joining us live from Pasay City. Good morning again, Greg. Could you tell us why the COMELEC decided to defer their session from last night?
Good morning, Charles. Actually, it was Commissioner George Garcia who moved to defer the canvassing of the certificate of canvass from the province of Abra alone. Garcia was pointing out that under COMELEC Resolution 10786, the National Board of Canvassers should be canvassing both the electronic and hard copy of a COC from a certain provincial board of canvasser. At that time, the province of Abra has yet to transmit their hard copy of the COCs. Thus, the NBOC moved to the canvassing of the COC from Malabon because at that time only the city of Malabon has transmitted both their electronic and hard copy of the COC. But after that, the members of the COMELEC en banc seating as the National Board of Canvassers, as well as the witnesses or representatives from senatorial candidates, political parties, and party list groups, have agreed that they could now canvass just by, even though there are only electronic copies from PBOCs. Thus, now the COMELEC has resumed canvassing of COCs from various areas. Charles?
It's ongoing. How many COCs, Greg, have been counted by the NBOC as of the moment?
Charles, as of the moment, the NBOC has canvassed at least 12 areas. These are from the city of Malabon, from the province of Abra, Apayao, Benguet, Ifugao, Kalinga, Mountain Province, as well as the COCs from San Juan, Korea, Batanes, Las Piñas, and Malaysia. And as you can see behind me, the NBOC is currently verifying the COCs transmitted by the province of Catanduanes. Charles?
Right, Greg, are there any other updates from COMELEC that we should know about?
Charles, the COMELEC is currently closely looking into a circulating video where some policemen are seen tearing some ballots, though these ballots, though it isn't clear yet if these ballots are official or training ballots. But in an earlier interview with Radyo 5 Ted Filon, Commissioner George Garcia said they will refer this matter to the National Bureau of Investigation. Charles?
Thanks for that, Greg. We'll be sure to check in with you throughout the day. That was Greg Gregorio reporting live from Pasay City. The COMELEC is now investigating the reported tearing of ballots done by the PNP in some precincts in Cotabato City. Mon Gualvez has the report.
In this video, police can be seen tearing quite a number of ballots in this polling center in Cotabato City. In another video, a man can be heard questioning the police about some people holding more than one ballot inside a clustered precinct.
Hindi mo nakita yan, sir? Hindi mo nakita? Kayong wala yun nandito eh.
It is said that these videos, which have now become viral, have been shot in different polling centers in Cotabato City. Mayor Francis Cynthia Giani, who's running for re-election, believes the ballots in the video have been pre-shaded.
Makikita nyo doon sa mga naka-uniforme na mga lalaki at saka I think may mga babae din na nag-fill up. Mga BFEM yun, no? Bangsamoro Free Election Movement, na nakalagay sa likod nila na may COMELEC pa. Talagang garapalan talaga yung pagkagawa na talagang sila lang yung nag-fill up. No? Sila lang yung nag-fill up nung ballots. No? At siyempre, kanya ang taas ng turnout ng votes doon.
The culprit, Giani's camp said, might be her opponent in the mayoralty, Bruce Matabalao, who's supported by the United Bangsamoro Justice Party or UBJP. But the UBJP denies the accusations.
Sinong may control doon sa election paraphernalia? Si Municipal Treasurer. Kaninong tao si Municipal Treasurer? Kay Mayor. Hindi naman kami incumbent. Wala kami noon. Sinong pwedeng mag-pre-shade niyan? Yung mga incumbent politicians na may access doon sa dokumento.
According to the COMELEC, it's standard procedure to tear up unused ballots before polls close. But authorities say they will still investigate the incident.
Simula nang matanggap po yan kahapon, nakita ko rin kaagad, ay kaagad ko pong pinadala yan sa aking sa secretariat ng, ako po kasi ang task force kontra fake news. Pinasabpina ng NBI yung po mga taong involved doon sa 5 video na sa aming palagay ay sumisira sa kredibilidad at integridad ng eleksyon. Pang-anim na po ito sa ire-refer namin ngayon sa NBI upang masabpina at maimbestigahan yung mga allegedly na mga pulis na yan.
Recall that police took over the elections in Cotabato City after final testing and sealing of vote counting machines got stalled due to back-to-back tensions that happened there over the weekend. After more than a day of canvassing, winners have finally been named. UBJP did a noisy motorcade around Cotabato City heading to the proclamation venue. But this also got stalled for hours. There was even a brownout. In the end, it was proclaimed by the Board of Canvassers that UBJP's bet, Bruce Bantabalao, has won over the incumbent mayor of the city.
It's time to move on, dapat magkaroon na ng healing, magkaisa na tayo. Ang aming pangako sa tao ay magsisilbi kami para sa lahat. So walang color coding yung aming leadership sa Cotabato City once we take over the administration.
UBJP admits its support for the candidates is in preparation for the parliament type of government that they're pushing for Bangsamoro region by the year 2025. For News 5, Mon Gualvez, we are One News.
For one political analyst, there are only 2 senators who are in the running to become the next Senate president. Man Los Baños has the report.
An action star now set to become senator. Robin Padilla found himself on top of the senatorial race based on the partial and unofficial vote count. According to political science professor Aris Arugay, those that top the Senate race are likely to run for higher office in the future.
If you are able to get, katulad si Robin Padilla, a lot of national level votes, then logically, an argument can be made that this can be transferred to other national contests that the presidency.
Possibly joining Padilla in the Senate are Loren Legarda, Rafi Tulfo, Win Gatchalian, Chis Escudero, Mark Villar, Alan Peter Cayetano, Mig Subiri, Joel Villanueva, JV Ejercito, Risa Ontiveros, and Jinggoy Estrada, most of whom were former senators. Meanwhile, here are the other 12 senators that have yet to finish their term. The question now is, who will be the next Senate president? For Arugay, there are only 2 names in the running, Senator Cynthia Villar and Senator Amy Marcos.
Ang feeling ko, the Marcos family might just delegate this position rather than hold on to it. Kasi baka mas, I think is needed more in the executive. Parang sa tingin ko, baka mas dun siya kailangan. No? I think there are enough people who can take care of the Marcoses' interest in the Senate.
Still, this will be up for the senators to decide. With its current composition, Arugay said it's not far to see a supermajority under the Marcos administration. According to some experts, a supermajority may pave the way for easier consensus on the passage of bills. But on the one hand, it could also cause a lack of checks and balances as well as separation of power, especially if the majority is submissive to the wants of Malacanang. Arugay said he sees only 3 senators who will compose the opposition. This includes Senator Risa Ontiveros, Nancy Binay, and Coco Pimentel. While in the swing group, or those whose possible leaning is still uncertain, include Alan Peter Cayetano, Joel Villanueva, and Sonny Angara. Reporting for News 5, Mean Los Baños, we are One News.
What will the Philippine economy look like under a Marcos presidency? Well, before the elections, Marcos himself outlined his economic agenda on 1PH's Candidatox. The details in this report from Cheryl Cosio.
With an imminent Marcos presidency in the offing, what economic policies can the country expect under the leadership of Ferdinand Marcos Jr.? In his interview in 1PH Candidatox, Marcos Jr. laid down some of his platforms for the country. This includes looking into the vetoed bill against labor contractualization, or ENDO.
kung sakali man makaupo ko, ay babalikan natin, titignan natin para ayusin natin. Para tama nga naman na it applies only to those businesses that are not seasonal.
In order to bolster economic recovery, he said that he'll focus on small businesses by providing tax amnesty to those affected by the health crisis.
Pagka gusto natin silang pahulin ulit, sabihin natin, wag muna tayo magkolekta ng buwis hanggang medyo makaahon sila.
Marcos Jr. also said that instead of lockdowns, he'll make a continuous push for vaccination in a program he calls Jabs to Jobs.
Talagang pursige tayo sa vaccine. At nakikita naman natin talagang magandang naging epekto mula nung nagsimula ang vaccine rollout.
But when it comes to economic recovery, it matters that the business and investment community trusts a country's leader. That's going to be a tall task for Marcos Jr. In a Bloomberg's market poll, Philippine investors are lukewarm to the prospect of Marcos as president. In fact, Marcos Jr. was at the bottom of the poll. But Marcos Jr. is taking the challenge.
And those are the top stories at this hour. Do join us again later at 2 p.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We're One News.